Yeah, so the only other thing I haven't mentioned is that social and mobile engagement technologies and platforms are deeply, deeply complementary. And I think it's really important to think about almost them being two sides of the same coin. They're both essentially about providing information and engagement platforms that are as universal as possible. And I mean, we've seen actually through some of the other presentations how social kind of user experience structures are super well aligned to restricted form factors. And not just the form factor, but also if you think about the qualities of wireless network, we think about poor Malcolm who stood up here trying to give his demo and the wireless kept cutting out, right? We don't live in wireless utopia yet. And for goodness sake, we're in a closed environment where it's not like a windy hilltop somewhere in a mountainous region, right? And still it didn't work. So you have to still be careful about network connectivity. So native's also really important on the client. So thinking about the amount of data you're trying to send back and forth is really important. And again, it comes back to those engagement models, those metaphors, those user experience design points, they're deeply complementary. So I'm conscious that I'm getting kind of excited and probably falling back a bit in time. I've already talked a bit about how a lot of this stuff kind of becomes super important at the edge of the organization where you're interacting with customers, partners, and suppliers. Customer experience management is, I think, the hot zone of where we need to think about supporting this kind of work in better ways. And fundamentally, it's about thinking about the sum of all the experiences that a customer has with you on the journey that they go through as they interact. So not just the point at which they buy something, but when they're actually exploring something they might want to buy from you, to the point at which they're researching that, they're making inquiries, then they might buy, and then they're going to need support after that. It's all needs to be considered as a journey that's probably going to cross multiple channels, multiple venues, multiple technologies. And managing the customer experience means being able to deliver a great experience across that matrix of challenging kind of vectors, if you like. Why is it super important to think about this kind of knowledge work, this unstructured work in this environment? Because you can't just think about quality and efficiency in this kind of environment, because humans are not robots. We are not robots. We do not think and behave in rational ways. And also, stuff happens, right? We are not always in control of our environments. We're not always in control of what's going to happen. So when you're really trying to deliver a great experience to an individual, a person, not a robot, you have to be prepared for the unpredictable. You can't follow a recipe. And this comes back to that evidence around exceptions. If you find yourself trying to map out lots and lots of exceptions, you're probably doing it wrong. You have to kind of really think about changing your operational posture in terms of how you design and support work, okay? If you're just focusing on quality and efficiency, what do you think about exceptions? Well, exceptions are really bad, so let's try and engineer them out. Or at the very least, let's try and control them. So we'll map them, we'll control them, we'll constrain them. If you're really trying to deliver customer experience excellence, then you need to embrace exceptions. You need to embrace chaos, because that's what life is like. You can't say to someone, oh, I'm really sorry, no, we can't cancel that order because we've already taken your credit card and it's gone off into the system. And oh yeah, so, well actually, you know, we could do that, but you're going to need to speak to my supervisor and, oh, sorry, I can't transfer you because they're in a different office, and you know, that kind of stuff just doesn't work. You have to be able to embrace those exceptions. Attitude to change also has to change. If you're focused on quality and efficiency, actually you kind of end up distrusting change. You have to really, really control change. And certainly, if you're going to change anything, you're going to change the prescription for work. You're not going to allow change at the operational level. That would be crazy. If you're really going to support customer experience excellence, you have to be prepared to engineer in flexibility. It comes back to what I was talking about that assembly of rules and guidance and smart kind of services that are going to help you get to a satisfactory conclusion with a case.